everybody. David Donaldson here with another episode of Entrepreneurial Impact. Really excited today, bringing back another person from the past. We like to dive in occasionally and get into the Dave origin story, a little bit of history of what's going on with us. And one of those stories is one of our very own, Matt Gorham. Matt, how you doing? Say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome from the Philadelphia suburbs. Go Birds.
Go
Dave,
Birds.
I didn't know we were going back to college when we met. Are we going to talk about the times where there was hazing in the basement?
I'm going to have to edit that out, I think.
I think we might have to edit that out, but we're still friends, right?
So I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes,
we were at a school where it was Philly versus Pittsburgh, and we were the Philly guys, so we always had that bond, right?
We did have that bond. We were the Philly guys, and what are the chances of that? Actually, Connor, is actually looking at IUP too. So looking at adding another Donaldson generation to the Western PA colleges, and
that's cool.
Fighting a good fight.
I might take my Mason there in a couple of weeks, actually. So we'll see. I haven't been on campus in a long time.
Would that be something? A little Gorham Donaldson reunion up at IUP.
Yep.
Well, yeah. So obviously, Matt, we go back a little bit, and the funny thing is, like most stories, I think when it comes to people, we have a relationship. However, when we mature, and I'm going to put that word in quotes, and we move on, right? There was some space there, but we reconnect.
You may not pay taxes now, but now I don't have a job. I have a career, right?
But we didn't talk to each other for a little while, right? We were separate.
Always cool.
I graduated, doing things. Right? But Facebook, social media is what that was a great common denominator of bringing people back together. And we got reacquainted and found out that, hey, here's this guy I went to college with, Matt. You beat me to the real estate industry, and you beat me to KW. I got licensed in 2007. And when we rediscovered each other, I think we kind of started talking about this little company called KW, which I had not been a member of yet. So you were there first.
Yeah. That just means I was there. I was just earlier. That's all.
Yeah, that's
not always better. It's not always better, but yes, that company's been really great to me. It's opened my mind with a lot of mindset issues and a lot of growth in a way that's changed the trajectory of my family, forever. And for that, I'm forever grateful.
Well, and that's kind of some things I wanted to get into today, right? I wanted to talk about mindset, right. Talk again culture. I wanted to get to talk about the value and the things that you've been able to get from this organization. That's just overall just made you do some things you never visioned. If it goes back to what we were not talking about in the 90s, right? But so let's jump forward a little bit. Let's kind of get forward into you and the entrepreneurial side of what got you into real estate. How did this all start for you? Where did this come from?
So when I was in high school, I started a company, a contracting business, The Deck Guy. I had deckguy.com, 888 Deck Guy. We had the trademark, and I started licensing it and franchising it. And that's actually why I transferred out of IUP, because I was busy paying someone else to run a company back at home. So I transferred back home, finished at Westchester, and so I learned licensing, I learned trademarks, I learned models and systems, hiring and firing really early, and I didn't really know what I was learning. But now in hindsight, I see that it was a really valuable lesson. And one day I was hanging out with a gentleman who we were friends with, that was a Navy SEAL, and he's like, Matt, like, this business thing you got going on, you got franchises here and there, but like, you're selling yourself short. You're not making the amount of money you need to. You're not making the impact on people the way that you should. And he handed me a book that many people have talked about, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Man, let's go. I know you got it back
it's
there.
On my shelf. I knew you were going.
If I wasn't at the lake house right now, I would have a copy of it right next to me too. And I read it, and I had this problem where I wanted to, I kept losing my employees. And in the deck business, you can't do a lot of staining decks in the winter. It's cold. So I kept losing employees. So I thought this was a genius way for me to buy some investments and then have my workers help me fix them up in the winter, and then keep them, because it was killing me to pay to retrain and rehire every year. I mean, we had up to 40 guys some years, and that's really a big deal. So I thought that was a good idea. Yeah, but I didn't know how to fix the house. So that was not a great idea. And we did end up buying one. That was, I don't know, 17 years ago. That was my first rental that we bought. And I just sold it about a year ago. And it was a heck of a lesson, man. It got me into the game. I started calling my buddies while I was in real estate school, just telling them what I was doing. And I didn't really know that was called prospecting. but I started prospecting them, and a lot of them respected me because they knew I already had a business. I'd worked really hard, and I gained some respect amongst my peers because I was pretty entrepreneurial in the beginning. I mean, I've been selling things since I was 8, man. I mean, I lived across from a creek. My mom gave me money to go buy lollipops. I rode my bike to the country store and I bought, salmon eggs and night crawlers, and I hustled those suckers, tripled my money, and then went back, got a lollipop, and then tripled the rest of the money. I came back. My mom said, "What'd you get?" I said, "There's no money in lollipops, Mom." She tells that story to everybody, and so I just been a hustler ever since. I've been a hustler forever, man.
It's crazy. Like you talk to a lot of people, and we see these stories kind of come and go. And look, there's an entrepreneurial spirit, and it doesn't always rear its head. But more times than I see that there was always something going on early on that kind of either they harvested and developed it or came back to it at some point in time and just kind of build upon something that fortunately they were blessed to have, something that was inert to them.
Interesting. Yeah. I grew up watching, my mom dropped out of high school, went back, got her GED, went back to college, was a very accomplished paralegal. Mom kicked ass. And my dad delivered newspapers in the morning and he works really hard and not smart. And I was watching, so I got some work ethic from my father, which I really appreciate. It was great. And I watched my mom not settle for nonsense. And I tried to take that to the next level. I just didn't want to, good enough wasn't good enough for me. Mediocrity doesn't last in my life. If I'm doing something mediocre, I will cut the cord on that thing. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I don't do victim talk. I never heard my parents victim talk. They didn't have a lot. Never, ever did I hear them whining about what they did have. And, I just was kind of, my wife and I talk about this all the time. Like, I don't want to go back to that place. And it's very motivating for us. I think most people that are entrepreneurial need to have a motivator. You need to have some grit. Somebody had to kick you in gym class or pick you last in kickball, and it really is deep in your soul. I try to find out
gym class and not the basement of a fraternity house. Okay,
definitely not that. That never happened. But I need to know who told you couldn't. When you want to be a leader in my organization, I need to know who picked on you at the bus stop. Something deep, man. I need to know about that with you, because that means we can go places. And the people that are high up in my organizations, they all have something that stands out really big in those areas that we can lead that to motivation for them, to opportunity for them. And then you can really grow together. You can scale things, but you really can't do that unless you know what makes people tick. Yeah. And what's going to motivate.
You got to invest in people, and the only way to really invest in people is not just to be there for them, ask questions of them.
You got to know them.
Shut up and listen and hear them. Right?
Amen, man. I just, Keller Williams teaches a lot of systems, a lot of models. Some these KPAs. There's so many tests. There's so many tests, man, and they're really good. But there's other questions you need to ask alongside of them.
Yep.
And if you don't really, and if you're not authentic, forget it. Real talent will just forget that nonsense. They don't want to be around you if you don't care about them. I love the people that are in my organization, and they know it. They know it. I love their kids. I go to sleep thinking about their car payments and their mortgage payments, and it motivates me.
That's exactly where I want to go with you. So let's just fast forward. Obviously, so Matt, you've been in the business. You've done great things in real estate. But for you, it is so much more than that now. It has come a long way from that first fix and flip where you were figuring your way out, transition to a real estate business, hiring people, right? But this is what I mean. When I think of people it's more than a business, right? I see you doing things for your events, for your communities, and for your people. Yeah. And hearing you say that my people keep me up at night, that's real. That's authentic.
It is real, Dave. And I've gained weight over it. I have had, sometimes worse eating habits, whatever it is. I really do care about them. And I think, and they do know that. They know that.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm not asking them to do anything I won't do. And if it's call night, the CEO is sitting at the call night, and I'll rip the phone the first time and let people see that I'm willing to do it. And I think they know that I really do care. I mean, we do give back quite a bit to the community. That's essential to be in our organization. We feel that God gave us these blessings and we have to share them. And if we don't, then we're wasting it. So like there's certain things that just you got to do if we're gonna play ball together. If we're gonna do life together, because you're doing life, man. You're doing life. How many trips around the sun do you have? And you just don't know, man. I don't want to waste one, and I have, and I'm not proud of those things. I got to stretch a little bit, and we have a long way to go. We've done pretty well. We've got 13, 14 people on our team right now, and we have some people that make 300,000 on our team. That's a really good life. And there's years where the agents on my team have made more than me, and I'm the first guy to smack them on the booty and congratulate them. I think it's great, and I want to have the right bus for the people that I have, and that takes a lot. It takes a lot of work. I got to do a lot of things that are hard. I have to do a lot of things that are hard, and I'm down here at the lake house. I booked 2 listing appointments this morning, so like I'm not here playing. It's just a different environment for me to do my job.
Well, there's sacrifice in business, right? There's sacrifice on family, there's sacrifice on yourself, and there's sacrifices you make at the behest of the others. But you've got a long-term vision for this. And one of the things that I've kind of appreciated of always seeing you over time, and in the community, I'm going to start with community, and then we'll come to your team. Like, I love watching you engage with your community. Like, I think of like peanut butter jelly time. I think of
man.
The baseball tickets. Like, I see you engage and give back on. So let's just kind of talk about the passion of like, where do these things come from? Like, how does that make you feel? Why is that so important to you?
Well, I want to build a village, man. Like I want my village to be better than your village, and when we have events, we have 2 big events that we have every year. We do a March Madness event, and we have people come in, and there's always a charity behind it. And, this past year we raised like $7,500. We affected, quite a few families in our community. What we have chosen to do the last couple of years is we partner with United Way, because it's a very valid, legitimate business. So I get a lot of Facebook juice. I get a lot of love in the community because it's a real organization that's qualified. And so we work with them. We are helping people that have mobile homes appeal their taxes, because they keep going up as if the mobile home is appreciating, but a mobile home has a title, or a deed, or a title, not a deed. So it depreciates like a vehicle, but yet the taxes keep going up. That is a terrible cocktail for people that work really hard. Now you have to work, you have to have a job, and you have to be contributing, or we don't help you appeal your taxes, but it saves the average person $1,000 a year. Like, that's insane. So we did 100 homes times $1,000 a year. Well, over 10 years, it's $1 million. It's easy math. Even Coatesville guys know that. So like, that's a lot of money for people that are really close. So that's part of it for us. The other one we do is we do a family fun day. We sponsor the AA Phillies team. We just gave, like, I don't know, I bought about 600 tickets, and we gave all of them away. And I think 400 some people showed up. We're all showing up, wear the ball or call the ball guy t-shirts on, and we're just creating community. I had other agents there from other companies within our company. Their families are out there enjoying it. I want them to see my culture too. Maybe someday they want to join our culture. Maybe they don't, but maybe they just want to have a fun night with their family and see some fireworks. That's great. There's no real estate sales pitch. It's straight up community. There's nothing to it. In our March Madness, there's no sales pitch. It is straight up community. And if you give enough, then people will see where your heart is, and they'll want to work with you. And and that's part of it. Of course, we want business out of it, but we also want to create something bigger, and try to do that.
Nothing wrong to building the business to fund what you're trying to do for the community. Like your values are not warped in that capacity. Right? You're able to do more because business is scalable, right? And the feedback back to the business, because your passion is actually in the right spot for community-based, right, donations, charitable organizations.
Yeah,
that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, I'd like to do. I don't like. Yeah, I just don't want to be fake about it, man. Like my community that knows me knows whether what's real and what's not about my wife and I and our team. Our team, they know what we want to do, and they know that when they're putting $1 in, we're matching their dollar. And there's been some times that are lean these last couple of years. We were down 30% last year, might be down another 30 this year. We're not stopping on the donations. We're not stopping on education. We're not stopping on giving. We're not stopping on community. We're doubling down on it. And it's been fun. Honestly, it's been a lot of fun. And having fun while you're working is great, right? I mean,
it's not just great, it's imperative.
Man, I don't know that I could do it
talk about this week. What comes first, hustle or the happiness? You got to lead with the happiness. Otherwise, the hustle will dissipate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've had, some sad things happen to me in the last, X amount of weeks or whatever. And, I could definitely tell my productivity went down at that time, so it's one of the reasons I'm down here in Tennessee right now. We're at our lake house trying to recharge before the kids go to school next week. Like I want to make sure I'm going into that with my battery charged, not drained. It's because there's more responsibilities with kids going to school. We got 3 that are still in, 1 that's out, and it's just, there's going to be some time. My son's a senior this year too, so he's got his soccer, season. I don't want to miss his games, but that's going to put some toughness on Amanda and the girls. Like, things are coming, man. So I got to charge the battery.
They come rapidly. Well, let's talk about, so that's the community side of things. And you got 13 employees now, team members, right?
Something about that.
That's funny, a lot. Really, and so I could see how that also can kind of get at you and think about it. And if you're talking about business adjusting down, because we know the markets are challenging right time, even though you're doubling down on what works, that's a challenging too. What are you doing for the team? Like I see some of the things, but kind of share with the things like what keeps, keeping 13 people engaged to show up and be as passionate about, you're always going to be more passionate about it, right? They may have certain aspects that drives them, but and that's okay. To pour into them to keep them dialed.
Well, some of that is who am I in business with? If I have to motivate you to get out of bed to earn a living, you're not going to last long in my business. We went away for a couple weeks after Christmas. We were not pending many deals at all. It was stopped. And I get home and we go bang 8 deals in a week. And it makes me wonder, like, okay, like, was your mortgage not due just because I was spending some time with my family? And so who am I with? And, so the people that I try to surround myself with have been champions at something in the past. I've got college softball pitchers. I've got a bodybuilder, Eric McGee, my sales director. Like, I consider him my business partner. I tell him I love him every time I hang up the phone, because I really do. And right now, the people around me, when I can't be there, he is the guy. He carries the vision, and he has earned the respect from the agents on the team, because that's what he does. I've got Donna that runs our administrative staff. She's an absolute champion. She's beaten cancer twice, and she's 30, and she's a butt kicker, man. I don't put mediocre people leading with me, Dave. They don't last, man. And some people that have left our company are not mediocre people. They're great people. It just didn't work out. So I don't want that to come across. Sometimes things don't work out.
There's not always right. Things don't always work out. Doesn't mean your relationship.
And it doesn't mean that they're mediocre either. It means they can be great people. There's some agents out there in our market that have come to our team, learned some of the business, and moved on. And I'm thrilled to see them. I want them to go kick butt. Like I don't want that to be what comes of this message here. But that's just really important. So what am I doing to engage? I'm doing that, but I'm also trying to pour into them beyond real estate. Like, if you come join our team, it's not like, if you come to me just for leads, this is a bad relationship. You need to come in for culture. And that's like so popular to say, but the truth is, it is family. We've had people leave and come back when they're like, oh man, I need homecoming. This is my homecoming. I need to come back home. And that means a lot. And I try to open up opportunities financially for them. So it's not just commissions. We have started a title company. And we're able to make sure that people get tied in. My showing partner, Steve, has been with me for 10 years, man. Last week, 10 years. Like, I want to make sure he is getting multiple streams of revenue. Our office is good enough. KW is really good at multiple streams of revenue. Yep. You have your profit share. We also have insurance company that we can invest in. We're doing flips. We're doing, holds. We're doing all kinds of stuff. And I invite my team to infuse capital into those if they want to be a partner with me. I don't have any, I'm teaching them how to do it so that they can create another stream of revenue for them. If I can create revenue streams for them, that are significant over and over again, my retention should be really strong.
That's what I look at a lot. Look, Keller Williams as an organization is everything you kind of started to touch on. And obviously a lot of focus right now is wealth beyond transactional business. But when I look at somebody like you and similar teams, right? But you've kind of led the charge on that. And you were doing that ahead of where a lot of people are at. And even KW as an organization, as far as spearheading it and saying, hey guys, there's more to this. You have an opportunity to invest capital and do things, and come with me and let me show you how. Like,
yeah. And I watched other people do really good and really poorly, and I learned from each one. And I just you have to treat what would I want if I was joining your sales team, Dave? How would I want? What streams of revenue would I want? What opportunities would I want to have? And I just try to think of it that way. It is really important for me to create revenue and wealth for those people. It's like it's a really, really big deal. It's changed my life. We started teaching an investor class to try to help others and to cultivate business, and it's been going really well. It's been about a year now. I mean, there's always something that we're trying to add on to. It's not just like, hey, come on in here and prospect for 3 hours, everybody. Oh, you didn't make your calls. Let's look at the 411. Like it can't be that canned all the time, man. It's just not reality.
No, it can't. And it just reminds me. So like, look, I've gone through some things. You've gone through some things. And there was a time in my life where I needed everybody. You drove 3 hours to come see me, and I didn't expect that, but it meant everything to me. But at that same time,
I meant it too, man.
There were other people you were doing things. And for those of you that, not everybody listening to this is a Keller Williams person, but we have an amazing cultural thing at our family reunion. And you found yourself up on stage at a family reunion being recognized for pouring into some people. And you got to meet with Mo Williams, who at the core, if you say culture, that's what we think of. I know you don't do things for that type of recognition, but I knew you are. I think it's important to share what that experience was like for you in that moment because of what you were able to do for those people.
Well, I wish it never happened because it happened because we lost someone, or we were going to lose someone that we cared about. We had an background stories. I had an admin who I knew in high school. She was great. She was with us for 5 or 6 years. Our kids are the same age. Like just love Jill to the moon. We're still buddies. And her husband contracted ALS, and we started figuring out what his goals are for his kids. And his goal was to have a house that his kids could come back, from college in and dump their laundry and have a safe place in the school district where they were, really solidified. And they're really good, 2 good boys, man. Like, they're good kids. And, there was going to be enough change coming in their life. And he wanted to lock down the fact that I don't want that. My kids aren't going to lose their friends at school. My wife's going to be in a better position, whatever it is. And so we started prospecting for money so we could buy them a house. And then Mo Anderson, not Mo Williams, Mo Anderson caught the wind of it through our region. I think our OP and some regional guys said something to her. And we didn't really know that we were winning a cultural award. We just thought we were getting an opportunity to give and try to pay off a house for someone that we cared about. Most companies don't go out and, you don't see a lot of admins and a little team in Pennsylvania, get a house bought, for them, primarily. And it's, we just wanted to do the right thing. Cause a lot of people talk about culture when it's convenient, but when you get kicked in the groin, like, where's culture now? Like, it's like, I don't know, man, I was hurting so bad. That was tough times. And we turned our focus to trying to help her instead of prospected for listings. We prospected for donations and built some great relationships. And I still wish that we were never on that stage and that Steve was still with us. And but when negative things happen, you have a choice to put your head in the sand and turtle, or you can figure out how to step up and do something. And I said that on stage with sometimes you have to. Everyone wants to talk about culture, but sometimes you have to act on it. And that's the only thing I said that got me applause. But it was
here's the thing. While you didn't want to be on stage, the importance of your story being told and others like you, right, makes others realize that they can do things without even thinking about it. They do them, but that's the thing that pays it forward, right? Those inspirational stories mean everything.
They do, man. I got this pen right here that's in my bag. From the bottom of my heart, Jaden Perez, he gave this to me that morning. I keep it in my bag. He's a kid from New York that was, giving tons of food back, and he was he'll just do anything for you. And he was like 12, and he had a way bigger heart than we did. And it was good to learn from him. That's why I keep that with me. So
people ask about culture, and until you experience culture, you don't really understand. We let off and you were saying it's a word. Yeah, it is. And it's such a monumental part of what makes our company a family, right? And we see things in Hawaii and the different things that we've had to go through that we know that people are working towards.
Yep.
And you never hope that you have to be a beneficiary of that culture. But when you do experience that, and the people that step up, and sometimes they're people sometimes they're people you've never met, it makes you realize you're part of something special.
Yep, that was certainly a big deal. I mean, I think we raised $360,000 before, and then we crashed the app. Which thanks Inman News for calling me and asking me, did we fail? They called me the next day and asked me, why did the app crash? And I said, why don't you write a story on how we raised so much money that we're helping somebody out? And they did not want to run that story. They just wanted to run the story about, that was the year Keller Williams declared that they were going to be a tech company, and then the app crashed and the give. But I think we did all right. I think we did all right.
I think we've done all right too. Well, look, I appreciate your time, and I want to get you back to your family, but I do want to delve into some of this because it sounds crazy to think, but we've been out of college a bit, and we've both been in this business for a little bit longer than I'm willing to admit. But there's something that's not lost on me when it comes to somebody like yourself, and that's legacy. It's a big word, and it means different things to different people. Like, I have to ask you, what does that mean to you? Like, what does that look like for you?
What habits, what opportunities am I affording my family, that they can carry on to the next generation, beyond me? And can we set the bar that this is the minimum standard of what we're going to be able to do? Whether that's opportunity. Right now, we're able to look at a lot of colleges for my 17-year-old that I know I would have never had the chance to look at. And for that, I'm very thankful. My wife and I told him, hey, Mason, if you get in Harvard, please don't, because I can't afford it. But I can sell one of our rental properties if you go. We can go do some things to afford you opportunities we didn't have. And I do believe in him. He's a great kid, and I'm willing to go sell a house. I'd rather it not be this lake house, but I would sell something and take care of him and open those doors. I want to teach, wealth. I mean, my parents didn't tell me how to handle a checking account. That's something that needs to happen in high school too. That's ridiculous. But anyway, that's another subject. I want to teach my kids something.
You're not wrong.
No, man. Like, you kidding me? Like, you're teaching me Pythagorean theory, but I can't figure out how to budget
or how pay taxes, how to buy a house,
or how to do the right thing, like how to, like how not to accept a T-shirt and a Dr. Pepper in college and get an 18% credit card.
Yes.
Not that I ever did that. And buy a 27-inch TV the second day of school. But yeah, like, I would like to have learned certain things. I want to give that is legacy too, teaching and opportunities, for my kids, and not just my kids. It's for our community too. And the community we live in, I care a lot about. I've lived there, most of my life, and we try to give back wherever we can. And so that's what it's about for me, just passing on a new standard, to my family, my wife and I. It's really important to us.
So before I wrap, I do want to touch on that. All right, you have an amazing partner in business in your wife.
She's all right. We did just fire her from one of her response. We opened a property management company, and her replacement starts the first day of school. So, Liz, please come to Daddy. We need you.
Well, what I was going to ask, though, because I used to work with my wife, we did some things together, but that's not always an easy thing to do, to separate the personal, the financial, the business. But you guys make an amazing run with it, and I see you guys and how you perform. If you were going to kind of share that information, it's like, what makes a successful marriage as business partners? What does it look like?
Well, first of all, our counselor would tell us that this is a bad idea. we go every couple of weeks for maintenance, and and that is one of the things that we found had to be mandatory. We have to get in front of a referee every couple of weeks so that something can't get in the way that could be really big. Like that's not like that. We have to avoid that opportunity of fighting over things. So we try to just kind of separate our roles. And I call her, she's like Rain Man. She really helps me with the flips. Her financial background, like her formulas are insane. And some of these spreadsheets she has running around make sense, but I'm good at finding the deals and doing the practical. She's good at making the numbers make sense and making them pretty. So like, it's really, I think it's about finding what, you all right. So when we flip houses, I like finding the deal. I like managing the people. I like doing all that stuff. And then I need her to buy in or else it's really weird. And we just kind of figure our own little niches. And then I let her alone in hers and she leaves me alone in mine. Like we've recently bought a couple houses that she's never seen. And she just trusts me. She knows that I know enough about what I'm doing at this point. We bought one last time we were down here in Tennessee. We just sent one of our buddies over to look at it for 5 minutes. We bought it. We're actually launching it tomorrow or maybe today. We have to talk about that tonight. So, it's just really about clear expectations and roles. Where Amanda and I get into trouble is where we overcommit and underperform. So if I'm asking, if Amanda's like, hey, I'm going to do this, and then she doesn't, and it comes back to me, that's where there's trouble. And then, or if she expects me to do this with my time while she's being the awesome mom she is with the girls, and I come back and I didn't get it done, but I played golf, that's not a good look. So, it's really about setting those expectations and setting them reasonably. It's really easy to set unreasonable expectations, because usually you and your spouse are like, you guys are super people, man. Like you're supposed to be able to we accomplish a lot of things together, but like you'll find the chinks in the armor really quick. So I just say over communicate, set up roles to make sure that they do work. And we spread ourselves thin with this property management company, and we're pulling the plug on her working there. So we hired a replacement, and you have to know when to pull that plug. It was just too much stress for us. It wasn't worth it, and it's a viable business going really good. But I would rather have a family conversation at dinner instead of, hey, John Smith didn't pay his rent. I don't want to talk about that at dinner.
Yeah, taking work home, having a distinguishable separation of duties, and recognize it when it's time to find out somebody else for leverage. Look, I think I read somewhere family first, right? That's
I've heard of that. And I'm not always great at that, man. I'm not always great at that. I don't want to sit here and act like I am. That's not true.
No, but I think if you are, but when you recognize it and that you've taken action on it is what matters.
I would hope. Yeah, we're trying. It's not free to hire somebody to replace your wife, So it's we're investing our money into firing her. We always laugh about it.
You're always looking for your own replacement, right?
I think you have to be.
Few people get to the point where they can actually do it, though.
You have to. I mean, Gary Keller. I'm fortunate to be in his private mastermind group. Well, top level, maybe that's not that private. And he's like, whoever gives away the most jobs wins. And he's like, I'm the most leveraged guy you ever met. I have one person that takes the trash from the top of my driveway to the bottom of my driveway. I got somebody else that does, his young lady that makes his tea every day. Like he is leveraged. And then it's interesting when you're in the room with Gary and someone will question, oh, I'm not sure I could give that job away. And he'll ask you a question like, do you use a washing machine for your clothes? And then she'll be like, yeah. He's like, you just use leverage, dummy. Like, oh, did you walk to work today or did you drive your car? Oh, that's leverage. Like everything is leverage. And so what can you give away? For any friend of mine, Mickey Pasquarello is like, hey, so do you clean your house?
Great guy. Mickey's a great guy. So now I'm going to have to let Mickey know.
Another Philly guy, right? Another
Philly. I went to high school with his wife.
What's up with that? He says, what's up with that? Like, what's up with that? Oh, do you go to the grocery store or do you have them delivered to you? Oh, you go to the grocery store? Oh, what's up with that? He just throws. So it's, my wife and I do try to give away as many jobs as we can afford to. That is a challenge. That's a challenge. Because it's also your blessing someone else.
Like we said there, what you can afford to, because it's also a goal.
It is a goal, but the older and more the more experience I get, the more I just want my time back, man. I just want my time.
I noticed
I spent 2 hours like a vegetable in that lake. I just caught a 19-inch catfish right like 5 minutes before I came up here for this, and I'm just sitting in there in the lake with my daughter and my wife, and it's quiet, it's nice. I could afford to take 2 hours to do that because I prospected in the morning, got my listing appointments, we hit the lake, and now I'm doing this. So it's like, I don't know, just trying to buy my time. That 2 hours that I just spent down there was really valuable to me, and I hope it was valuable to her and the girls. Like, that's really important. So I didn't have to take any phone calls. I didn't have any problems. We were sitting in there, chilling in the water, man, like just doing our thing. And so it comes down to buying time. And if I'm doing every job myself, then I don't have time to, there is none. There just is none. And
because you're exhausted too.
Yeah. And I'm not good at it all. Like, I'm okay at that stuff, man, but I'm not, dude, my admin, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to log into Command. I don't want to. I don't know how to pay myself.
Exactly. I remember I'm the regional guy on that side of things, and that hurts.
Sorry.
I'm gonna have to George Kelly, if you're listening, Matt needs a call.
George, no, but I don't want to. No. They can learn. I don't want to. I don't want to learn that. I want to learn how.
I know.
What I did learn was, we're doing a home buying seminar for a really large credit union in our area, and we're their preferred realtor right now. And I got leads this morning or Saturday morning. So that's all I know. I did that. That is stuff that I have to go do. That's my level of prospecting.
Well, that's your one thing.
That's it, dude. If I open those doors for my team, then they got leads coming in there from great sources. I bring a good amount of value. But if I'm not making those calls, I don't have the influence in my community. I'm not present. I'm not doing things. I'm not giving back. People don't want me for that stuff. If you don't align with their culture, if I didn't align with their corporate culture, they sure as heck aren't going to have me to their headquarters and advertise to every one of their credit union members that, hey, this is the guy you want to use for real estate. I mean, that's crazy. That took a long time, man. I've been working those relationships for 20 years. So
wait, these things don't happen overnight. I got my license.
It's really weird. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I really enjoy the leadership at that establishment. It's just, it's what it is. And they know that we fit. So it's good, but it's still, those are the things I need to be doing. So then I can buy my time. That's it, man. I want my time.
Well, listen, as we wrap up, if you had one thing to say to everybody, if there's one thing to focus on, one thing you've learned on all this time, what would that be?
What job can you give away first?
There you go.
Create a list of things that you hate. Get a love-hate list and keep it live. Like, it's a living document. And you come to all right, what are the things that I just can't stand? They drain my battery. I don't want to do it. And I'm not, but they're really important. For me, that's like social media. I don't want to be playing around on Instagram all day long. That is not my jam. But someone else can be really good at it. So I just create that list all the time. I work really hard to replace to create a list of things that I don't want to do, and I find a who that I can bless with an opportunity to do them.
There you go. So guys, build a list, get focused, persevere, keep working, family first, and leverage out what you don't want or shouldn't be doing. Matt, thank you, man. Thanks for joining.
You're welcome, man. Dave, it's a pleasure, man. I'm excited to be sitting here with you and hanging out. I don't know when I'm going to see you at the next event, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'll see you at family reunion for certain in Vegas, if not soon.
It better be before February, Double D.
Well, hey, hockey season's starting. I'm going to be in Aston more times than I can count. I got some stops in Westchester and Valley Forge. You'll be the first person I call.
That's me, dog.
All right, take care, buddy. Lots of love in the family.
Peace, everybody. Go Birds.
Go Birds.